Hello, my friends, and welcome to another exciting adventure into God's limitless outdoors. We had one incredible spring that started off with Shane taking this beautiful brown bear in some steep and nasty cliffs. And after we got him worked up and packed out, it was my turn to shoot. And we headed back up into the mountains looking for the perfect bear. And not only did we find a good bear, but we found an incredible motherlode of sheds. We hope that you enjoy this hunt as much as we enjoyed putting it together.
Do you know what you're doing?
What do you mean?
Going up this way.
Not really. We're just heading up this mountain here. We've had a pretty good start so far. We've seen a lot of good bears and taken a really good solid bear in a really solid way. And now we're going to go explore this area where Brenton saw a really big cinnamon a couple of years ago. So we're going to go see if he's still haunting this place. And we got to somehow find our way up through this rock mess to get there. So we're going to pound for hours on my sore feet and get up on top of the world and see if we can't turn something up.
You know, there's very few things that are as exciting and fun and life-giving as hiking around in the mountains with a rifle in your hand in the spring. You're picking up sheds, you have an opportunity for bears, maybe a wolf, and you never know what's going to come at you. And on top of all that, even if none of that comes to fruition, you're getting to just stand up there in some of the most jagged, rugged, beautiful country that God has ever crafted. And that alone is worth every second of it.
It's been a long time. Got buried in the ground.
On this day, we just worked our way to the top, glassing, poking around, looking for anything that we could find, and just soaking in the moment and enjoying the sights.
And there is I don't know what it is, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Big orbit one with flat fronts.
That's cool.
As good of a view as any right here.
Okay.
Got a live chance of finding it. We've hunted all day. We went up this nasty drainage and picked up a couple little sheds. Not a whole lot of action. And come back here where we were watching that bear last night and early this morning. See if we can turn him up. So we'll see if he's still in the area or if he's moved out. Pretty right here. Let's see.
We hadn't been sitting down for 30 seconds when Shane looked over and saw this bear feeding out in the cliffs and the red fur.
Zoom in on him. What's the wind doing? Is there no wind?
Hard to tell.
I get my lighter out. Very slight.
250.
Oh, what are we doing now? We've been sitting here a long time, haven't we?
Yeah, probably what, at least 25 minutes.
Nothing.
I think he was right out on this open hillside here, kind of in the fir trees, but from this angle, the tops are blocking our view, so he's somewhere up there. He's about 350 yards, and this is our best shot at him right here, closest and just good stable shot. It's a really steep incline, and it's hard to get the gun settled and situated and feel comfortable and solid to make that shot. So what I think is going to happen, I feel like we have about, it feels like about an hour before dark right now. I don't know exactly what time it is. The sky's getting dark, and I think we'll sit here, and if he does not show himself and present a good shot tonight, we'll try and work him again in the morning. He's been here the last couple weeks that we've been watching this. He's just feeding in this little spot. He's real hard to see, and man, it's amazing to me how you can know there's a bear right there on that hillside, and it's a pretty open hillside, and you cannot see him to save your life. It just makes you realize you got to spend, Shane and I were talking about, you got to spend time on a hillside. I think so many people just blow through the country, myself included, and walk by a bunch of really good bears. And I think if you find a good spot that has everything they need, you just got to stick with it and give it time for these things to surface. They're like whales. They go underground or something, and they pop up and emerge out of the brush.
After about 45 minutes of picking this hillside apart, this bear finally surfaced, and we got set up so that we could get ready for a shot.
I'm good whenever you are.
I'm gonna wait for him.
Yeah, I know you're waiting, but I'm all set on him with the camera on.
You got him?
Yep, I'm on him.
You like it?
Hold on a second. There.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. You see him coming?
Yeah, I see him. And he's alive. I think I got him that last time. Real solid. All right, well, we rolled him off that hill, and then he got his feet under him, and he ran down, and I hit him again. And it looks like he's dead over here behind this snag, so we're gonna get across here and take a look and see what we find. It's never fun when it's not just lights out and over, but I think he's done for. So always makes you question what exactly is going on. But we're gonna go in there real slow before it gets dark here. See if we can't turn him up.
There is flat out just no good substitute for a well-placed shot. It doesn't matter the size of your caliber, the quantity of the bullets that you put into an animal. If you don't put one in the right spot, it really turns into a pain in the butt. And this bear had a couple rounds in him, but none of them were good shots. It got dark before we were able to find his blood trail, and we realized that he might still be alive. So we decided, even though it was thick brush and we had a lot against us, we wanted to make sure he was not suffering through the night. So we pursued really cautiously and slowly, and ended up almost stepping right on a very alive bear.
Yeah, really good. You were probably just about standing on the guy. Oh, there he is. Hey, back up, back up. There you go.
Yeah, he's still gapping, must be.
Give me a second. Let's see a damn thing. You were rocking down right on top of him.
Yeah, I come up right over there.
Yeah, man, you were right on him.
Yeah, I was expecting anything to happen, but still.
It looks pretty dead. We'll get some video in a minute.
We got the bear tagged and gutted and headed back down to camp for the night, and decided to come back up in the morning and finish the rest of the project, getting him worked up.
So there's a really interesting thing that happens when you're out here in the mountains, and that is in this crazy world where you got cell phones and emails and all the TV and everything going on. It's just this fast, high pace, and there's all this chaos going on. Like, you get out here and the water is still flowing, and it's quiet, and there's peace. And when you get out in the wilderness, there is just this ability you have to get quiet in your spirit and to really unwind out of a lot of the junk of the world. And there was this man, his name was Moses, and he was a Hebrew, and he was born in Egypt. And during that time, Pharaoh was having all the male Egyptians killed, and his mom saved him, and he ends up growing up in Pharaoh's house. And there's just this wild story that surrounds Moses. But at about the age of 40, he ends up killing a guy, and he runs for his life, and he goes out into the middle of the desert. He goes out into the wilderness, the backside of the wilderness, it said. And it's out there that he becomes a shepherd. And he's going about, and it says that he's on the backside of the wilderness, and he's just out in the middle of nowhere. And there's this amazing passage in which Moses sees this burning bush, and there's an insinuation in the text that he had seen it over and over again, but it says that Moses said, "Now I'm going to turn aside and see what this is all about." And what I find fascinating about that is being out in the wilderness, like, you get quiet, you're surrounded by God's creation. And it seems like there's this process in our lives where we're out here and we're surrounded by God's creation, and we see His glory and we see His majesty and we see all of this, and the scripture tells us that all of this creation just proclaims God's existence, and we see it all. But then there's a day, just like in Moses' life, there was a day when he said, "I'm going to turn aside and I'm going to see what all this is about." He saw this burning bush, he saw this amazing thing, and he met God face to face, and God gave him his purpose. God gave him his marching orders. God told him, "You're going to go and do this incredible thing, and I'm going to be with you, and you're going to see amazing things, and you're going to free all these people, and you're going to liberate them." And it all started when Moses finally turned aside. And I think for us as hunters, when we're out here in this creation, and it's incredible, and we're looking around, and then we go back to our lives and we continue the same way that we were, but we're out here and we call it God's country, and we say, "Man, it's incredible out there, and I just feel closer to God." We might say our church is in the mountains, and I think that when we're out here, we, like Moses, have the opportunity to turn aside. We can turn to the side and say, "You know what? I'm going to see what living with the Lord and for the Lord is all about." Look, I've been living my own way. I've been out on the backside of the wilderness, and
I've been doing life my own way, and I come out here and I'm inspired by God, and I think it's incredible out here. And I'm telling you right now that this is all just a reflection of God's goodness. It's an expression of His creativity. And if you love this, you're gonna love life with God. Because God has incredible things. He can create incredible things in your life, and He has a purpose, just like He had a purpose for Moses. And Moses didn't realize it for over 40 years of being out in the wilderness until he turned aside. God has an incredible purpose on your life. And until you turn aside and say, Lord, I want to know what that purpose is. I want to follow after you. I want to live my life for you, and I want to accomplish great things in your kingdom. Until you turn aside, until you deviate from the life that you've crafted for yourself and that you've always lived, you're never going to lay a hold of all that God has for you. And if you think this is awesome, God has more incredible things than you could ever even imagine or think for your life. So I want to encourage you. Like, if you love the outdoors, if you love this big, beautiful, rugged creation, you're gonna love God, and you're gonna love the life that God has for you, because it says in the Word of God that He has prepared good works for you to walk in before the foundation of the world. Like, God has a plan for your life. And as Paul says in Philippians chapter 3, I haven't arrived, I haven't obtained, but I want to lay a hold of that for which God has laid a hold of me. And I want to challenge you today, if you haven't laid a hold of, if you haven't been chasing after God, and you haven't turned aside yet, I want to challenge you to turn aside right now and spend some time exploring what God has for your life. Look, if you want to know more about Jesus and you want to explore more about what God has for your life, you want to just take a moment right now and turn aside and turn to God. I want to challenge you to go over to our website, www.limitlesshunting.com. We wrote a resource called The First Mile, and it'll teach you how to start exploring your relationship with God and learning about God and how to communicate with God and how to find out what God's will is for your life. And then, just as Moses did, once he turned aside, he went and he liberated all of his people and he led them out to the promised land. And God has big things for you to do in this world. God did not create you for a menial existence. He created you for a meaningful existence. So go over to our website, request The First Mile. It's absolutely free. We want to send it to you so that we can watch you begin to grow in your relationship with God. So turn aside, my friends, and turn to God today.
After getting the bear worked up, Shane and I took a look on Basemap and found another drainage that we thought might hold good bears and maybe, if we were lucky, a few sheds. So we decided to head up into this craggy, nasty bottom and plug our way up into the top of this drainage and see what we could turn up. The rain moved in and made it a little uncomfortable and super soaking wet on the way in there, but we didn't let it deter us as we kept going up this drainage.
Shane and I are up on this hillside here, and we're looking for another bear, and we haven't seen any bears, but I looked across and I find this old shed, and then Shane's like, oh, there's some mule deer, and I look at the mule deer, and there's a big 6-point elk shed laying right next to him, fresh brown, and then down below him there's a point, well, there's another shed points down, so there's a little pocket of sheds right over here we're gonna go explore. There's the white one. Mule deer.
This next chunk of video is a little choppy, but I thought you'd really appreciate getting to see all these sheds picked up as we worked our way up the hill.
Oh. Cool. What is this? Oh, wow! Hey, that's cool. It's fresh last year, maybe. Huge elk, all deformed. Big base. Wow. Found another one here. Found another one. Oh, that we didn't spot from the other side. Oh, it's not huge. It's nice though. 6-point. All right, I see the fresh one up here. Laying out. Turn this thing around so you can see. Wow. Oh, that's the last year's. Looks like maybe the other side of this one. Oh. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. That's a good shed.
As I kept pressing up this ridge, I looked up ahead of me into this big basin and I could see elk sheds laying absolutely everywhere. I have never had a day like this before, and it was one of those moments that you knew was just as special as it gets if you like shed hunting.
Oh. All right, Shane found a big brown down in the timber there. I just spotted another big one up on this hillside. So I'm gonna get up here and take a look. Man. This is like the best elk shed hunting I've ever had in my life. Crazy. Old one. Crazy. This one over here. Ah, shoot. All chewed up. I just said. Oh. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, this is like the dream day. This is absolutely crazy. I think I'm at 9 or 10 now. And this is a big sucker. Oh my gosh, check this thing out. Oh, dang. Oh my goodness. Holy mackerel. That is a big caliber shed there. Oh my gosh. That is a real stud there.
This shed was actually the last year's shed off of the big brown one that I just found, and they were only about 250 yards apart on this hillside. I ended up looking for this shed for a couple more days later in the spring and never matched up his other sides.
All right. Well, spotted another one. Not a very big one. We'll add it to the pile. Looks like we got a lot of singles here. Man. Not bad. A lot of singles. Yeah.
I just want to take a second and thank you all for watching, and I truly hope that you enjoyed this hunt as much as we enjoyed putting it together. Before you go, I just want to remind you that it does not matter what you've done, it only matters what you do now. The past is the past, and God has a future for you. So get out there and enjoy God's limitless outdoors and enjoy God as you go forward in life. And make sure to tune in next week and join us as Shane seals the deal on another big black bear in some brutal country. God bless you all and have a great day.